Greetings everyone, this is Alex K. Today I am doing a special video entitled Top 10 Cut or Unused Content in Dark Souls 2. As the title indicates, I am going to be showcasing the best 10 cut or unused content in Dark Souls 2 and mashing them in one video. So let's not take a lot of time for the intro and let us begin with number 10. Number 10. Bonfire Reinforcing. Bonfire Reinforcing was a mechanic that existed in Dark Souls 1, that if you buy two specific items, which are the Weapon Smith Box and the Armor Smith Box from the Blacksmith, you can upgrade your weapons and armor while you are resting on a bonfire. Now this mechanic was supposed to be in Dark Souls 2, but only the two items remain intact in the game files, and if you try to equip them by using non-normal methods, two hidden prompts appear when you rest on a bonfire. If you choose the first prompt, then you can upgrade your weapons. If you choose the second prompt, you can upgrade your armor. If you want to know how you can do this yourself, please refer to the video list in the description. Now let's move on to number 9. Number 9. Non-Broken Lord Vessel. If you don't know what the Lord Vessel is, that means you haven't played Dark Souls 1 yet, but nonetheless, the Lord Vessel is a vessel granted to the chosen undead to fill it with powerful Lord Souls which exist in Lordran. Now, if you didn't know already, if you go under the mansion which is located in Majula, you will find a skeleton protecting a broken Lord Vessel. But the more interesting thing that if you use free cam and go above the broken one, you will find a non-broken variation resting above. This indicates many lore implications on why it rests there, but perhaps we were meant to acquire the Lord Vessel again, but in Dark Souls 2. Let's move on to number 8. Number 8. Reskinned Weapons. Before the Crown of the Sunken King was released, the chest in the Majula mansion, instead of holding a soul vessel, they changed it for a specific period into a blue Murakomo. Same with the next two DLCs, as the box held a white black steel katana and a blue long sword. But from the time of the first DLC, all of those were in the game files alongside 4 unused ones, which are the Black Rapier, the Red Kestis, the Bloodied Great Club, and the Golden Great Axe. Also, as a side note, by the time of Halloween, an image was leaked that the Bloodied Great Club was going to be in the box, but it was removed, and you can see the picture right now. So we are done with this subject, let's move on to number 7. Number 7. Unused Enemy Weapons Variations. Left in the game files of the game are multiple variations of weapons that enemies wield, and the first ones are the Bone Wheel Skeletons, as there are 2 variations of them wielding a falcon and another wielding a Murakomo. Then there are 2 unused variations of the Archdrake enemies found in the Shrine of Amana, one of them wielding the Archdrake Chime weapon, which attack you with a vertical lightning spear, and another attack which I couldn't identify exactly what it does. And the other variation is holding the Archdrake staff, and they attack you with Great Soul Arrow and Homing Soul Arrow. Now that we are done with number 7, let's go to number 6. Number 6. Dark Souls 1 Armors. Left in the files are chunks of armors taken straight from Dark Souls 1, and there are plenty of them, some partial sets and some single parts only. But the most interesting ones are the Hunter's Hat, and this one has an icon and a description, and you can see it on the screen. There is also Smo's armor, and you can equip everything but the helmet. The third one is the Witch set, and you can only equip the body part and the hat, but the hat is visible underground and you cannot get it to get onto your head. And finally the Sorcerer's set, which you can equip everything but the leggings. Now the last 3 I mentioned do not have icons or descriptions sadly, but if you want to see all the Dark Souls 1 armors in action, be sure to check the video link in the description, and it has a little bit more in depth about the ones I mentioned as well. So let's move on to number 5. Number 5. Child Emerald Herald. The Emerald Herald is a woman you meet in Majula. She is a heterochromatic woman, as she was born from humans and dragons, and she has different colored eyes, which proves this statement. Now there is an unused model of a child which is confirmed to be the child version of the Emerald Herald. It is said that because there is a concept art that matches this model 100%, and she has different colored eyes in the same format of the Emerald Herald. She appears to wear a snowy outfit, which might indicate that we should have met her in the Ivory King DLC if there was a time traveling concept there, but it seems that From Software scrapped it. Let's move on to number 4. Number 4. Undead Steelworkers and Crestfallen Soldan. Now you might be saying that these are also unused variations, but the previous ones I mentioned only had different weapons, but here their whole shape is different. First are the Undead Steelworkers, aka the Hammersmiths. They are located in the Harvest Valley and the Earthen Peak, and their description from the Collector's Guide says, "These brutish characters may have once worked for the Iron King in the construction of the many weapons and armors that he required." Now there's a cut variation of them wearing their blacksmithing suits alongside some goggles, and some variations of them also wielding tongues. Now this proves that they have indeed worked for the Iron King to produce weapons and armor. Also, the man you find in Majula, Crestfallen Soldan, has an unused variation wielding 2 swords and having Pate's armor equipped. This variation matches his look from the comic Dark Souls 2 Into the Light. Now let's move on to number 3. Number 3. Dark Souls 1 Weapons and Shields. Left in the files are some weapons and shields that were in Dark Souls 1, but before I begin listing them, none of those has a moveset, but you can put any weapon's moveset to use them. And the first and most interesting weapon is Smo's hammer, like it is really big and really fabulous looking in Dark Souls 2. The second one is the Dragon King Great Axe, and there is also a sphere next to the weapon which the developers used to determine how they will make the normal maps to see how the heights of the weapon and the texture are going to be. And the final one I'm gonna list is the Pierce Shield, which belonged to the Katarina Knights, and this one also has the texture sphere I may have mentioned. Now here I have only mentioned the most appealing ones, and if you want to check the other weapons and shields, the link will be in the description. So let us move on to number 2. Number 2. Unused enemy animations. There has been some animations that hasn't been shown off by the enemies, as if From Software removed them from their AI, but they can be restored by replacing their AI to force them to use those animations. And the most interesting one is the grab animation used by the artificial undead enemies found in the Huntsman Copse, as they grab you with their dual scythes and they spin you in the air as you fall to the ground. The second animation is the Ironclad Soldiers. They have one-handed fighting animations, which is very entertaining, as they have a fast animation and a slower one, but it is more deadly. Now let us move to number 1. Number 1. Unused Weapons. Those weapons are really cool looking, plus they have icons, and the first one is a blue club with the shape of a flower on top, and it also has some decorations on it. It has an icon, as I told you before, and you are seeing it right now. Now this weapon does not have an original moveset, but its shape is really weird, and I honestly mashed it up with the Olenford staff, which you find in the Undead Crypt, as their colors are kind of matchable. The second weapon is a blacksmithing tongue, and same with the previous weapon, it doesn't have an original moveset, but it is also really interesting looking, and most likely it would have been a hammer's moveset because it is built within the range of hammers. The third weapon really surprised me it existed actually, because it is the Dark Sword from Dark Souls 1, but it is listed as a Great Sword, and it has a unique icon which isn't the same as Dark Souls 1's icon. And same with the previous weapon, it does not have a unique moveset, but the most logical thing to do is applying a straight sword moveset with a dark damage like the Fume Sword. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe for my channel. And as I told you, check the description for the video links, because like each thing I mention here, like the video that corresponds to it has more in-depth stuff to it. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I guess I will see you later.